Dave and I started working together at ACAD when we were finishing off our BFAs, and we started working under the moniker DaveandJenn basically the day that we graduated, and it's been the name we've worked under ever since. We started doing paintings together, and then over time we were doing sculptural paintings, and that kind of moved into just sculptures, and now we're doing installations which kind of feed back into the paintings. So it's been this really interesting sort of cyclical process for us over the past 14 years or so. Yeah, it's been a long time. So in Paradise, for an in-between time, what you have is a few different players set up in a scene. You've got the two-headed parrots, which are on the ground with their beautiful tinsel bodies and their bronze heads, and they are quite lively and raucous and consuming themselves and just generally having a good time. In the background, you've got the animation of our little cat friend who is not having such a good time as he's constantly searching for something to sate himself. You've got the bugs that he's chasing after, and then you also have the motifs of the birds kind of repeated throughout in the neon lights, and then also in the gobo that is projected on the back wall. The subject for the workshop that we are running at Esker is cut paper animation. So we will be taking people through the process and a little bit of the history of the animation technique that we use to make the little cat animation for our installation. So people will be learning in the workshop how to design and then cut out their own two-dimensional paper puppet and how to hinge that together, and then we will also teach them how to put that on a light table and animate that to make their own little sequence, and then we'll take all those sequences and string them together into a group project. Some of the things that the participants will be learning will be how to make their two-dimensional design into a puppet, but also learning a bit about a frame-by-frame animation sequence. The steps that we're going to take them through will probably prepare them to do something on their own afterwards, because the actual process is so accessible to anyone, basically. I think it's a great opportunity for an audience to work directly with an artist to learn from their process and learn how to make something, because I think it takes down this sort of this feeling of separation that some people might have between people who make art and then the audience. I get a lot of people who say, you know, oh, I could never do that, you're talented, or, you know, oh, I don't think creatively. And I think that's really not true. I think if they get a chance to sort of see how maybe Dave and I work, they can maybe see how they could do something with the same sort of processes, or is maybe useful because it opens up the experience of not only looking at art but also understanding art. So you know, the participants in the workshop will get a chance to see how Dave and I make something, and they'll be able to follow our train of thought from beginning to the final project. So I think in the end it sort of, like I said, opens up the entire world of how you go about making, basically. The interesting thing actually is that Dave and I get a lot from the people who come and take these workshops with us. I know that we are teaching other people something, but by working with them and seeing what other people are doing, I'm actually able to get a little bit outside of my own box and see a different point of view when it comes to the process of making something. So I actually feel like we get a lot from the workshop experience also, and which is one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to it so much. I think the fact that the Esker runs these educational workshops and talks and makes them so accessible to the public is really important. First of all, because a lot of the stuff is free, it makes it accessible to people from all different areas of the city. I remember when I was younger, we didn't have a lot of money, so I wasn't able to take a lot of classes or do a lot of things that I may have wanted to. But having something like this in the city is really great because it opens up that sphere of activity to people who otherwise wouldn't have access to it. Also, it demystifies the art gallery to the public, right? Like, it's not like this house on a hill that can't be understood or can't really be interacted with. The Esker becomes a vibrant part of the community that's actually exchanging with the people that come into it. And I think the whole city is better for that because it just makes everybody more involved with each other.